You bought it?
Wait, that's tomorrow? Since when? I thought that was the next. I mean, I can ask if you can.
We don't have to go, we can just go there.
Yeah.
They just said she was hanging out too.
I think I'm gonna release not redone. But I can cancel that.
We made these kind of early this week.
You're right. I'll tell her after I'll tell her.
So we'll go through the questions you guys had on the homework. And then hopefully, just review a little bit more and feel comfortable and then be able to test tomorrow. We'll be,
Hopefully test tomorrow.
well, no, hopefully be ready for the test
Oh.
tomorrow.
Next Saturday, we're going to Malta. Must. Yes.
Next.
You know where I live. Very much.
Okay, so to start with these two multiplication ones, and this is actually one, I think on the Kahoot that you guys did poorly on, or like is a, well, that was like the one that was rough on the Kahoot that you like didn't do.
Yeah.
Oh, no, like this question specifically, the whole thing. guys,
He's
is
like, I
terrible.
got first
No, shut up.
place.
Okay.
That's not what I was.
So in this one, and it's under, one of the things to be like kind of looking ahead at is this is one row by two columns, and then this is two rows by one column. So I know when I'm done, I have a one by one matrix, which is just a single number. So kind of knowing that going into it kind of helps you to figure out the answer as well. So what I have to do is this row by this column. So 2 times 5 is 10, plus 7 times -4 is a -28. So I kind of like multiply the things, or multiply them and then add what's together in the circle. So this ends up being a -18 is our matrix. So I know it has to be a one by one matrix because of checking that the middle two numbers cancel. Whereas even though 26 has more numbers, it's probably a little less confusing that way because it's a 2 by 2 times a 2 by 2, so the answer is going to be a 2 by 2. But remember, you have to do row by the column. So 8 times 2 is 16, plus -3 times 1. And I'll put those together. I guess this doesn't need to be this big. Then I have to do this row times this column. So -24 plus a +15. And the bottom row times this column. So 12 plus 1. And then -18 plus a -5. So then we're just left with whatever happens when we add these. And so -23, I think. (28) says if you can find the determinant of the matrix. So when it's a 2 by 2, we do downhill minus uphill. So we'll go this way first. So we do 4 times 8 is 32, minus the uphill, which is a -77. So I do that subtraction, which actually becomes addition. So that ends up being 109, I believe. Right? 29. And frankly, I think this one's yours. What did you, do you use the downhill method on this one? Frank, which method do you use on this? What's that? Do you list the next two rows again? Yeah. I just want to make sure I do it the way that you did it. So in 29, the method that was suggested was to use this one where you draw the next two rows out. Now this is a really easy one just to like switch some numbers around and make a mistake that way. So don't, or like a simple multiplication error. So this is a negative 42 going downhill. Some big numbers to multiply here. 34, so 120. Stop me if I do some multiplication wrong. And then negative 5. And then we go uphill. We have to subtract. So 75, 49, negative or positive 8, I think. So, let me just grab my tray and then do some simple addition error. Be annoyed, not being able to figure it out. So over here I get 73, I think, minus 212. Is that right? Negative 139, was that the answer? No,
I got 132.
negative 52. All right, let's check again here.
Oh,
What's up?
and the 49 is supposed to be 42.
Oh, yeah. But even then, I must have done something else wrong. That should be 42. Because that was 6 times 7. Yeah, yeah. 125 there is a little bit better. Oops, gosh. Well, maybe that's right then. Oh wait, hang on, that doesn't add up, does it? Oh yeah. So 73 minus 125, oh that's it. Negative 52. Sorry. Silly multiplication mistake. Ethan, was 30 your question? Was that yours? Okay, and you said that way, yeah. Again, I don't like that other way, like I just always make more mistakes on it, so it's up to you what method you use, but I can follow your work, but like I said, I usually end up using this one. So 30. Okay. Going to write it again. And again, do downhill minus uphill. Stop me if you see something that is possible. $49 times 2, so 98. 98. negative 161 minus, this is 161 plus 74. No, I did something wrong. Oh, no, it's okay, right? Negative 87. And then finally 42, and I totally understand why you guys asked about this one. I know before Paige left yesterday, she asked about it, and I guess I had forgotten this problem looked this way on the homework, so it was definitely a tough one. Because the way it's set up, it needs to be in that standard form, and this one isn't. So we have to change it so it is. I didn't put anything like this on the test, but still not bad to talk about it. So this one isn't really ready to go for Kramer's rule, because in order to do Kramer's rule, it has to be in that standard form where we have x and y and then the constant, and this top one doesn't look that way. So we have to get it so it looks like this. So this top one, I have to change it by moving this 8 over. So I get, I'll write it up here, 3x equals negative y minus 8. So I have to move the y over. So I get 3x plus y equals a negative 8. I kind of just had to rearrange some things there. Now I'm ready to do Kramer's rule. So I won't give you one like that on the test, but you have to have it so that it's in those standard forms. So at this point, I have my x and my y. And remember with this, we take the matrix, we take the numbers that are listed here and put them on the bottom of the matrix the way they are. On the bottom of both of them. And once I've done that, then on the top, I'm going to replace the x coordinate, or like the x spot, with the answers. And again, the formula will be on the test, but you have to know how to use it. So whether or not it's helpful if you memorize it or whatever. This goes in those slots. So now I have to do determinant on the top and bottom, the fraction. So up here, I get negative 14 minus positive 6 and minus 6. On the bottom, I get 4 minus a negative 6. So this is a negative 30 over 10. So x is negative 3. Over here, I get negative 32 minus a negative 14 times 3, so that's 42 over 4 minus a negative 6, so 10 over 10, so y ends up being 1. Questions? So what I'd like to do with you guys is kind of do a repeat of what we did yesterday, do some more problems with some practice. I'll give you guys maybe a little bit of time to work on it. I'd like to also, hopefully before, and give you guys some time to work on homework. I'd like to try and get grades updated, like in terms of missing work and making sure kind of everything's where it needs to be. And I'll probably try to do that while you guys are working a little bit today. Because with next week being the end of the semester, I want to let you guys know where you're at. I just, with being gone, it's been hard to catch up for me, just with traveling. But so I will try to get that stuff out to you guys. But what I thought we could do is do some practice, like again, like similar from yesterday, and just kind of make sure you guys are feeling ready for the test tomorrow rather than just testing today. So. So I put some extra multiplying ones on here. So I might give you guys a little bit of time to work through some of these, and then We can talk about them or, yes. What's up? Yeah. Yeah.
I have a band lesson at 5.
Okay, just keep an eye on
Which
it.
one am I supposed to do?
The one that doesn't have your name? You're not supposed to read it, you're just.
I did.
And you
And
said
now he's ripping this. He's, I don't think he's that.
I don't care.
He wants to change.
Egg boy?
You guys should start working on some of these. I'll probably interrupt you guys a few times here.
Oh, tiger.
Trying to read them.
Yeah.
You think we can go work outside? Yeah. So what I'd like you guys to do is maybe start on like this first little section here. So just a reminder, our test is tomorrow. So if you want to work through and if you're really speedy and keep moving, go ahead, but I'm going to pause you guys every once in a while. So work for a little bit, we'll pause and then we'll come back and talk about these things. So those of you guys online, I'm going to change the screen, but I'd ask you guys to work through some of those and then we'll come back and talk about it. Or if you don't know how to start the first one, then skip on to the second one and we'll explain it together. Give you guys a little bit of time here.
Sounds good.
Make this. So I just ask that you guys kind of just follow along up here and make sure that yours are going okay. I don't want you to practice this wrong and then do it wrong and then on the test it will go poorly. So what did you guys do for example 1 here first? What did you guys set up? Yeah, Ethan?
Make them all equal to each other, like 5x times 7, 8.
So that allows us to solve for x. So we move so we find out x is 3, okay? So he said them all equal to each other, very good. So we're gonna set up, like, so this 5 should equal the r squared plus 1. What do you have to remember with r squared when you're solving with r squared? Square root, but what do you need to remember? There's something special. Yeah, you actually have 2 answers on this one. Don't forget about that. So r is both positive and negative 2. So we put the square root in. $11 here needs to equal 21 minus m. Oops. M ends up being 10. And then finally, that 4y plus x equals 23. We know that x is 3, so we can put that in and use that to help us solve. So in the same problem, x is always the same thing. So 23 equals 4y plus x, which is actually just 3. So we find out that y is 5. did you guys get a chance to do this next one, the evaluate one? Yeah. So this one has scalar multiplication and addition and subtraction in it, so it kind of has a lot going on here. And then if you didn't notice the question, just what are the dimensions of the solution matrix? So once you're done and you find an answer, what would the dimensions be? And that's that size, that's rows by columns. So we can take, and when we do a problem like this, we have to follow order of operations. So we have to do multiplication before addition and subtraction. So I have to multiply all these by 5. Multiply all of these by 6. Now the next one I can either multiply by -2 or +2, just depends if you want to do negative or positive. I'm going to multiply by a -2 this time, but then that means I'll add these. So this will be a +6 up here, a -16, a +8, but then that means I add them across. So it's kind of confusing. So that -2 can be confusing. But since I chose it as a negative, then I just end up adding all the way. So I'm going to go all the way across the top. So essentially 11 minus 24, so -13, I believe. So -21 and +18, so -3, I think. Stop me if I do something wrong. 38 minus 15, 23. That sound right? Is that what you guys got? Guys, check my work here. Did you guys get this for? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. What's the dimensions of this matrix when you're done? Yeah, Ethan?
3 times 1.
3 by 1, yep, so it looks like 3 times 1, yep, 3 by 1 is fine. So it's 3 rows by 1 column. So being able to write the size of the matrix, actually I think that was one of the more missed questions last year on the test, just because I think we didn't practice it a ton, so making sure you guys are comfortable with that dimension. So, do you want some time for the multiplication? Are you guys there already? You're there? And just looking quickly, I saw a couple of people that didn't do this one. This one is possible. You are able to do that. So let me just set it up, start it with you guys, and then see if you guys can figure it out. So it's 2 rows by 3 columns, and then this is 3 rows by 1 column. So my answer should be a 2 by 1 matrix when I'm done. You should be able to do that one. Actually, both of these are possible. So why don't you guys try those 2 if you haven't already? Because again, I saw a lot of you didn't do this one yet, or a few of you didn't anyway. So try it. If you can't get it, I'll help you guys here in a second. Careful, this one, both of these, so the one on the left should be a 2 by 1, and this should be a 2 by 2 when you're done. Be careful. We can talk about it in a second if you guys need to. I just want to give you guys a chance to try it. and then add them all together. So. You should have 4 times a -2, and -2 times 5, so you don't multiply the 4 by all 3 of them. So 4 gets multiplied by this. This gets multiplied by that, and then this by that, so I think you're multiplying too many times. I'll give you guys another minute here. That one better. Only thing is this, since you're solving for x, should go here. And then, so you like the tops of each view. Since you're solving for x, then it should be that way and then this. Alright, put it right here. Sure, it's fine. Alright, can we go through these now? Are you guys ready?
Mhm.
Thought this would be a no, but okay. Alright. So I think, I'm glad I threw this one on here because like I said, I had a few of you guys I saw that didn't do anything with it. So on letter A, so if you guys didn't get anything for this one or not sure if you got it right, please make sure you guys are following along so we can have one like this on our test. So this row has to go with this column. So since the whole circle goes together, I have to multiply as I go here, but then add them all together. So this is going to be my first row and my first column in my new matrix. So 4 times -2 is a -8 plus the next 2, which is -2 times 5, which is -10, plus the last 2. And that's as wide as I go because there's nowhere else to multiply. So I'm going to take those all and add them together as I go. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom row. This row times this column. So -12 plus 3 times 5, which is 15, plus 3 times 5, which is 15. And so now I'm left with, when I'm done, a 2-by-1 matrix. This makes sense. So this is a -39 on top and 18, I believe, on the bottom. So a 2-by-1 matrix when we're done. Make sense? Now the next one is a 2-by-2. For whatever reason, this is maybe a little bit easier because of the fact that everything matches up really nicely. So row times column. So we have 56 plus a -1. I'm going to do row times the next column, so then I come over one slot here. -14 plus 4. Next row by column, 40 and -3. And then finally, 10 and 12. And then I just have to add all those together. So that, I think, should be it. Did anyone else get something different? Is that what you guys got? Yeah. Okay. So when you're ready, if you guys want to flip the page. Looks like a bunch of you guys were able to flip the page and do the determinant one. So I definitely want to do that one here in a second. Again, if you haven't gone through and done some of the other ones, so like if you guys want to flip the page, we'll work through some of those other ones. I know some of you guys are completely done with the review, which is great. Just make sure you keep checking in. so that if you like did this wrong, that you're not gonna practice wrong and then do it wrong on the test. All right, why don't you guys flip the page and look at the next view, so the 3-3, if you haven't done so already. We'll talk about them here again in a second. Does everyone have what's on the board? Can I take that off the board? So flip to 3-3 on the back. Again, if you guys, some of you guys are working on it, and that's fine. Just kind of, again, just keep checking in. I want to give you guys a chance to try it before I talk about it. So let's talk about these. You flip to the back side if you haven't done so already. So these two ask us to find the determinant for a 3-3. So in number or letter A up there, I do downhill minus uphill. So 2 times 5 is 10 minus the uphill, so minus a negative 21. This becomes plus 21, so this ends up being 22 for my determinant. How about letter B? Do you guys remember how to do that kind? Trick question. What's wrong with it? I want to find the determinant. Yeah, Ethan?
The row and columns aren't the same.
Yeah, it's got to be like that square matrix. So rows and columns has to be the same. So this one's not possible. So a little bit of a trick question there, or a lot of trick question. Just determinant has to be for a square matrix. So we can't do the determinant for that one. So if you're like, I forgot how to do that, it's because you're not able to. Yes? Yeah, if I could add. Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah,
At least someone's paying attention.
I just thought you were right.
You thought that you can't add, but
And then I put it in the calculator and I'm like,
I'm
what?
sorry. Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
You're just focusing on your favorite grade and when they graduate. That's
Yeah.
why you put 22.
Well, you see what I mean, it's like, that's pretty backwards what I did. I added the ones column and with the tens column, I mean, I like flipped it. I don't know. That's impressive. So yeah, no, I can't add, thanks. So at least you paid attention, thank you. So Kramer's rule here, are we okay with going through this right away? Or, okay. So Kramer's rule. Again, I like setting it up by putting the bottom on first here. So I take those and put them right into the matrix. So sorry if I could apparently not understanding numbers today. Great math teacher. So 3, 5, 2, negative 3. So I got those numbers from the coefficients up there. Okay. So the bottoms are always the same. The top is where it changes. And so essentially, if I'm trying to figure out the x, I think of it this way. I write the answer in the x column. And the y column stays the same. And then this just flips on this side. So since I'm solving for y, I put the answer in the y column. Now at this point, I have to do determinants. So I have to do downhill minus uphill. Now if this ever works out to be some crazy, crazy fraction, it's possible the answer could be a crazy fraction. However, I try to give you guys kind of nice numbers, so it's probably a good indicator that something went wrong if it's not working out. Or I just picked a bad question. So 12 minus, I don't trust any of my multiplication skills at this point, because I can't add. So 29 times 5 is 145. On the bottom, I have negative 9 minus 10. Is that right? Okay. So this is a negative 133 on top. This is a negative 19 on the bottom. So my x ends up being just 7. And this one over here, I know the bottom already is going to be a negative 19 because it was over there. The top, the 87 minus a negative 8. 87 plus 8, 95 over negative 19, which is a negative 5 for my y. So again, I just find Cramer's rule to be totally wacky that that even works. So it's kind of crazy there.
No. Oh, can you oh, then.
What the?
Sisterly love. All right, and then finally, our last thing is the determinant of the 3x3 matrix. And again, you can use either method that you guys want. It's up to you. Does anyone use the circle thing? I think some of you guys did last time, and then I think I messed you up enough on it. I don't know. So, so we put the 2 columns over here. And I don't know if it's because I learned it this way like so long ago, and then the way I know, but this is the way I typically go. But I think this book was the first time I ever saw that other method. So downhill, we 12, 0.
I always like it when there's a 0 in there.
Yeah,
So
the
you
0
know.
does make at least one thing good, right? So 120 minus the uphill. Then is this working out? Am I doing this right? Again, I trust myself very little right now. 174, you guys
That's
got?
the same thing I
Oh,
got.
God. Okay. So, what's listed here then for homework? And if you haven't, I saw some of you guys already looking ahead. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge because of the way the back of the book works. Is you have to go to like this section and then do those problems in that section. So I know it's a little bit of a pain, but it's just more questions similar to what we've been doing. And yeah, so you guys have new practice problems. They're listed in on Schoology as well. Again, I'm going to try and have your grades updated before you guys leave here today. I've been kind of plugging along at them. So that way you guys know if you're missing anything for me or if I didn't get something from you. So again, this is in the back of our book.